Welcome back to Black News Tonight. The R&B veteran Kenny Lattimore has just released a new jam. It's called Pressure, and he's indeed applying it with his forthcoming studio album. Here's a sneak peek of his new music video. It's going to drop in July.
Don't give that good love to nobody. Don't you dare. When you call, I'll pull up every time.
With an illustrious career spanning more than 2 decades, 7 studio albums, and countless top 10 R&B singles, Mr. Lattimore has a vocal stamp of his own. And he's also using his platform to create positive change and give back to the historically excluded youth with his Kenny Lattimore Foundation. Joining me now is the man himself, Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter Kenny Lattimore. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's definitely a pleasure. I appreciate you.
Oh, it's my pleasure, brother. Your new single, Pressure, just dropped on streaming platforms everywhere on Friday. Talk to me about the track. What inspired it?
You know, I had an experience, really amazing experiences with an artist named Madison, and he ended up producing the last 3 top 10 songs I've had. A song called Love Me Back, Stay on Your Mind, and another song called Be Here. And we got together because we were like, well, what should I do for this next project that's going to keep me separated and growing? Because a lot of times when you're considered a veteran artist, you kind of just sink into your style and who you are and what you do. But I was like, well, Kenny Lattimore in 1996 is not the same Kenny Lattimore in 2021. So we got together and I heard this track that had this infectious bass line, and his background vocals, Madison's background vocals, are on the track. And I was like, I got to do this song.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that you're still inspired and willing to be flexible, because that was one of the questions I had at the creative level, right? Is you have this album coming out, and I'm like, will this be classic Kenny Lattimore feel? Will this be some new stuff? I'm okay with you adjusting musically. I know you care what I think. I'm okay with you adjusting musically a little bit, but I also hate when I see artists who have a lot of experience trying to sound like the people who just came out. It's that balancing act, you know?
It is a balancing act, and it's funny having Madison work with me, and because he has worked with me over the last few albums, he respects my legacy, but at the same time, we're about authenticity. So if we get in there and something sounds a little like, no, I would never say that, or, you know, this is off, he has no problem calling it out. And then I think I try to, for the most part, surround myself with people that will be honest with me. I'm not one of those artists in a vacuum. Oh, it's Kenny Lattimore. I've done this all these years, and it's my way. The executives as well, I've invited everybody to come in and be a part of the process so that I can be a better me for my audience. So, yeah.
What inspires you now? I mean, you're happy in your life. Judging from that piano, money is good. You know, relationship stuff is good. Like, you know, can you still do heartbreak songs? Can you still do, begging you please songs? I mean, how you do it?
Well, no, I definitely am inspired by my new relationship. And I think a lot of people have been asking me about this. They're like, oh, he's married to Judge Faith. What is this like? It is very positive. I don't have a lot of crazy stories or anything to give, but I've lived. You know, once you've lived a certain amount of years, you've got all kind of stories up under your belt in general. So there's so many things that I relate to. I want the music to be relatable. I want it to be stories that reflect true life, just like your last guest, who I'm a huge fan of, Jason Weaver, and that whole shy moment when you were talking about that. What we love so much about it is the realness, the fact that these are real people. So I'll continue to tell real stories, but my brand is about inspiration. It's about an inspiration and encouragement. So you're going to always get some positive love songs from me. I've tried doing songs that were a little more heartbreak songs. Like I did a song called Push on the last album. Most of my audience seemed to want a positive love song from Kenny Lattimore. I think they want the romance from me. And that's something I had to learn through the years as well, because I've done all kinds of songs. Even when I did my song Days Like This, it was a different kind of approach to a male, you know, being transparent and telling about his emotion and all that. But when it comes down to just telling a woman how amazing she is, and like when I did For You, I Give a Lifetime of Stability, messages like that, it seems to resonate the greatest with my audience, who is primarily women.
Absolutely, because when I announced that you were coming on the show, I have gotten more texts from my homegirls and my cousins and everybody in the family. They like, yo, he gonna come on. Is he still married? I'm like, yes. Damn. You know, it was those kinds of messages, man. But you've had a legacy. I mean, we love your legacy, man, but we also love the work you do in the community. You have a group, the Kenny Lattimore Foundation. Can you talk about that? This Kenny Lattimore Foundation. You're in your third year.
It's interesting that we were
work.
talking about. As an individual, I have always been dedicated to mentoring. I've always taken young, particularly Black men, under my wing, whether it was just life, because it just started out with life in general, and I was meeting young men in the church that didn't have father figures, and their moms would ask me if I would just sow into their lives some kind of way with knowledge or time. And what that natural progression became was this particular foundation. I'm using this to create a mentoring program. We're talking with some other organizations that exist now that have been doing it for a long time to create a program so that we have men, going in and strengthening the young Black men in our community. One of the other things that I was talking about earlier when I was even speaking about the artist Madison, who is working with me, is that's a part of the mentoring process. I decided to do this particular album out of the inspiration of Madison getting ready to do a project. I wanted to use my label to give him a platform and teach him in a safe way what the industry was about. Because historically, Black musicians, we write songs and we record songs and everything, and we get a small percent of the royalty.
Woo.
And I wanted to teach him in a great way that I'm going to give you a different kind of experience. When I go in and I talk to these Black men about, okay, you got to put your publishing splits together and you got to do your business correctly, each other fairly, let's uplift one another. I try to go in with things like that. So these are a lot of my personal values and where I stand as a human being.
And you take those personal values, and you apply them into your business, into your music, into your community work. Brother, that's why we appreciate you. That's why we love you, man. Best of luck on this new album. We love the single. We're going to play it. I'm sorry to disappoint you, all my best friends out there, but he's still happy. Good to see you, Kenny. Everybody stay with me. We got a little bit more to say before I... Oh, absolutely, my brother. Absolutely. Everybody stay with me. We got a little bit more to say before I let you go.